yeah, I'm happy to be recorded and blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So I've started the recording now. So just still on the recording and anonymization side, what I've been telling your team, your people, is that I will anonymize the data, but of course this is a sort of small pool of people who will get identified by people who know the field.
Yeah.
So what I told them is that how we want to present, how we've reflected on this data or whatever the output will be. I think we can make this decision together. So what I'm thinking is to keep going, trying to interview people over the summer. Some people have been also very busy. I think now or towards the end of the summer would be a better time to chat. Hopefully in September we could have a workshop collectively, and maybe we can discuss, is it something we want to sort of say, oh, we as LSHTM, modelers, we reflected on that and we would like to have this written output, or do we want to do something a bit more sort of big picture, taking distance, more something on evidence, and then I will make sure I anonymize the data much more, and we can also dilute the information a bit more. But what I've been telling your team is that maybe we can make this decision once we have some findings and we discuss what outputs we want to. Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
Good. Also, I do know that some of the information you can't share. So if there's any question you don't want to answer, or if like tomorrow you realize you said something that actually should have been off the record, of course you can just let me know. So I just want this to be a safe space, not a space where I'm trying to chase some sort of new information. And I guess you've been asked a lot of sort of
I have, yeah.
News. So
yeah.
Great. So I have lots of ideas. How long do you have? Just to
an hour. So yeah, I definitely have to leave by 5:00. So, but
yeah, good.
Till then it's fine.
No, that's already quite a nice sort of time. Okay, so I have a few sort of areas I would like to discuss, but of course, if you have any other area of discussion you want to bring in, please do. If you feel I'm missing something really important, and also I think the discussion will anyway go in its own direction at some point, so that's also quite a free process. So I wanted, so I don't know if you could just start by giving me a brief description of your role personally in the response, how you've been fitting into, I know some of it, but just in your own words, how you see your role in the response, and how you see the role of the center, maybe how you also both manage your team at the school, because I understood the team got bigger also in this process. So how you sort of manage that, and then how you see your role also as then sharing some of this work to the decision makers.
Okay. So I sit on a number of committees and have done for years on pandemic preparedness in the UK. So one of them is a committee called SPI-M, which is the modelling committee. And basically, I was on it before it even existed. There used to be another committee called something else. I've forgotten what it was called. But there used to be basically three of us on it. Myself, Neil Ferguson and Matt Keeling at Warwick, and then a few people from the Department of Health. And that's still basically the core of SPI-M. It's grown enormously, especially in the pandemic, and it's grown anyway over the last few years. Graham Medley is now actually the chair of it, and has been for the last couple of years. But I've been on that committee, for at least 15 years, planning flu pandemics. And of course, the committee existed before the 2009 pandemic. And so we kind of went through the 2009 pandemic and informed the government response in a similar way then. And I'm also on another committee called NERVTAG, which is a more multidisciplinary committee looking at new and emerging respiratory viruses. And so, yeah, and I've been on that committee for a long time, since it started, and I don't remember when that was, maybe 6 years ago. When the actual pandemic started back in January, then obviously, and then SAGE only sits, you probably don't know this, but SAGE only sits in emergencies and then has just temporary membership. So people get invited to a meeting, and so some people may only go to one meeting because they just need particular expertise on that particular day for that particular meeting, and that's it. And then there's sort of no need for them to go to the subsequent meetings. But SAGE is now it was sitting twice a week. I think we had SAGE today. I think we've had about 50 meetings over the course of the epidemic now, something like that. I think we're up to like SAGE 47 or 48 or something. So I've been asked to attend all of those. So I've been to each of the, well, I think I missed one or two because of previous commitments earlier in the epidemic. But apart from that, I think I've been to everyone. And SAGE is, of course, as you probably know, that then feeds directly into COBRA, Cabinet Office Briefing Room A, which is where the sort of decisions are made. Now, us SAGE members don't go to COBRA, don't attend COBRA. It's only Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, and maybe some of the other chief scientists. So SAGE consists of, so a lot of the people on SAGE are the chief scientists at the different government departments. So there's a chief scientist in the Department of Education, there's a chief scientist in DFID, that's Charlotte Watts. There's a chief scientist at Ministry of Defence, for instance, that's Angela McLean, who's truly wonderful. And some of them, I think, might attend some of the COBRA meetings if necessary, but it's basically just Chris and Patrick Vallance who go to COBRA, and they co-chair it, and although it's mostly done by Patrick, and that's the sort of process. So I've been on SAGE from the beginning of the epidemic. Which has been interesting, as you might imagine. And and I'm also on these other committees, and they've also been sitting once or twice a week, mostly twice a week throughout the epidemic. So I have been basically sitting on committees throughout the epidemic.
So some of the meetings you will present data from the team, and other meetings you will listen to other...
Yeah, and just contribute. Yeah, exactly. So SPI-M is the main modelling committee. Most of the modelling work is presented at SPI-M. SPI-M organise what they want to see. There's some things that are routine and that they get every week or twice a week, as it has been for much of the time. Like short-term forecasts and estimates of the reproduction number, they sort of are every week, or even more frequently earlier on. And then there's other things that are pieces of work in response to requests coming often from central government, from the Cabinet Office, or maybe coming from SAGE. We would like a piece of work on this, please, and so on. Early in the epidemic, that was all quite frantic, and so requests were coming sort of straight from SAGE, really, and we were just responding, often just straight back to SAGE because there wasn't much time to go through SPI-M. So early in and the idea of SPI-M is that it takes in modelling evidence from a number of different